course you have. Now get snuggly into bed next to Mummy because it's time for your next story tonight. And this story is one that Jack used to love when he was a little boy, and it's called Brown Bread and Honey by Pamela Allen. It's about two characters, the king and the stable boy. The stable boy was the boy who looked after the horses. Brown bread and honey. The king was the most important person in the land. He lived in a big castle on top of a high hill. With his friend the stable boy, he loved to jump, he loved to run, and he loved to ride his horse. So much fun. But what he loved most of all was food. All day, every day, in the castle kitchen, the king's cooks cooked. They were stirring and whirring, mixing and fixing, basting and tasting, sipping and dipping, making and baking, chopping and stewing, until at last they had made the king's dinner. There were muffins, milkshakes and muffins, puddings and pumpkins, chicken and chocolate, pavlovas and pikelets, curry and cordial, lamingtons and licorice, custard and cake, and more and more and more. And the king managed to eat it all. Oh my goodness. But gradually, little by little, bit by bit, he got slower and slower and heavier until he was too slow to run, too tired to jump, and too heavy for his poor horse. Nothing he did was any fun anymore. The king was miserable. Nothing he ate tasted any good anymore. As each splendid new dish reached the table, the king complained. He screwed up his face. "This curry is too hot," he cried. "This gravy is too greasy," he grizzled. "These muffins are too mushy," he moaned. "This stuffing is too sticky," he screeched. The cooks were sad, and they tried harder and harder to make bigger and better dishes to please the king. Then one evening, after a big dinner of pork pie, peas pudding, and pavlova, oh my. The king was sick. Ow. Very sick. I think he's about to throw up. He groaned and he moaned. Now he was so miserable and so tired that he didn't want to see another pie, pudding or pavlova ever again. He blamed the food. He blamed the cooks. "It's all your fault," he shouted. "You're sacked." So the sacked cooks packed their bags and went away, and now there were no cooks left in the castle. The next morning, the king felt a little better and he wanted some breakfast. He asked the maid who cleaned the kitchen, "Can you cook?" But the maid heard him complaining about the curry, so she said, "No, I can't." Then he asked the gardener who grew the gardenias, "Can you cook?" But the gardener heard him grizzling about the gravy, and so he said, "No, I can't." Then he asked the minister in charge of the money, "Can you cook?" But the minister had heard him moaning about the muffin, so he said, "No, I can't." Then he asked the soldier who served as a sentry, "Can you cook?" But the soldier had heard him screeching about the stuffing, so he said, "No, I can't." There was no one left to ask. The king just sat down where he was and cried. He was still sitting there the next day when the stable boy found him. "Would you like some brown bread and honey, your majesty?" asked the stable boy, holding out the lunch his mother had made. Now the king had never tasted brown bread in all of his life. He stopped crying. He looked at it carefully. He smelt it, but he didn't complain. "Thank you," he said in a tiny voice. He took a bite. "This is yummy," he exclaimed in amazement, and greedily gobbled up all of the lunch and was looking around for more. "Oh, there isn't any more," said the stable boy. "That's all I have." "Oh, I'm so sorry," said the king in a tiny voice, "but I was so hungry." Each day from then on, the stable boy brought 2 lunches in his 2 little boxes to the castle, one for the king and one for himself. And together they would sit under a shady tree to eat. How kind. Until at last, little by little, the king could jump and run. And what else, Lola, do you think? And ride his horse again. This made the king very happy, and now he loves messing about in the castle kitchen, making meals with his friend the stable boy. And do you know what they like best of all? Let me think. That's right, brown bread and honey. Ta-da! And this is the end of the book about the little stable boy who was kind to a king and helped him. Now, night-night, shut your eyes. Big cuddles and hugs and kisses from Nan. Love you, I'll see you soon. Bye.